Have you ever wondered what holds a giant, complex university together? What if you just pulled one little thread out of that whole system? Would anything actually happen? Well, today, we're going to pull on one of those threads and see just how fast things can unravel. Let's dive in.
So this is the big question at the center of it all. What if all those future doctors, nurses, and dentists just stopped taking science classes in the Faculty of Science? It sounds like a simple scheduling change, right? But this question goes way, way deeper. It really gets to the core of how universities are actually built and funded.
And trust me, the answer is not as simple as, oh, the science faculty would just have fewer students. Nope. It's much more dramatic. We're talking about a massive domino effect, a chain reaction that could shake everything from university budgets to people's careers.
Okay, so let's quickly look at how things work right now. Most professional programs, especially in health, aren't standalone islands. They rely on the Faculty of Science to teach the fundamentals. The basic biology, chemistry, and physics that every future healthcare professional absolutely has to know. It's a system that, on the surface, works for everyone.
But what happens if you break that link? Well, the very first domino to start wobbling is, you guessed it, money. To really get what's at stake here, we have to follow the money trail.
And here's the secret ingredient. It's called cross-faculty enrollment. It's actually pretty simple. Universities get funding based on the number of students sitting in a classroom. So the Faculty of Science's budget isn't just from its own science majors. A huge chunk of it comes from all those pre-med, nursing, and pharmacy students filling up the seats in those giant first-year lecture halls.
And this chart, wow, this really shows you what's going on. In a typical intro science course, a staggering 75%, 3/4 of the students aren't even science majors. They're from the health sciences. This means those huge foundational courses are almost entirely funded by students from other faculties.
So what happens if that 75% just vanishes? The financial impact is frankly devastating. You could be looking at a budget cut of around 45%. Think about that. No department, no company, no organization can just absorb a hit like that and walk away okay.
But, okay, this isn't just a numbers problem. A financial disaster in a university always bleeds over into an academic one. It's about more than just the bottom line. And here is the truly painful irony. The money generated by those huge introductory classes, that's what pays for the really cool, specialized, advanced courses that the actual science majors live for. So you take away the funding from the big classes, and suddenly the small, interesting ones start to disappear. The whole program gets watered down, and a science degree just isn't worth as much anymore.
This quote just nails it. A university is supposed to be a place where ideas collide. But when a faculty only teaches its own students, it becomes a silo, an echo chamber. You lose that magic that happens when a future physicist, a future nurse, and a future artist are all in the same room, learning the same thing from different perspectives.
And of course, this isn't just about ideas and budgets. There's a very real human cost to all of this. We're talking about the people who make the university run, the professors, the teaching assistants, the lab technicians. Their jobs are on the line.
The logic here is just brutal, and it's simple. Fewer students means you need fewer classes. Fewer classes means you need fewer people to teach them. And that leads to downsizing. It's a tragic but direct path from lower enrollment to talented educators potentially losing their jobs.
All right, let's zoom out for a second and look at the whole university as an ecosystem. What this little thought experiment shows us is that the Faculty of Science isn't just another department on a map. It's more like the powerhouse, quietly keeping the lights on for everyone else.
This really puts it in perspective, doesn't it? The Faculty of Science can either be this vibrant, central hub for the entire university, or it can shrink into this small, niche department that only serves its own majors. The whole identity and purpose of the faculty would completely change, and not for the better.
I like to think of it like a building. The Faculty of Science is the deep, concrete foundation. All the other professional schools, health sciences, engineering, you name it, they're the impressive towers built right on top of that foundation. Now, what happens if you start taking a jackhammer to the foundation? The whole structure becomes unstable.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's that a university is a deeply interconnected system. A change that seems small on the surface could end up threatening the entire institution. That Faculty of Science is the unseen pillar holding so much of it up, and if that pillar starts to crumble, the whole roof could come down.
And all of this leaves us with one final, really big question to chew on. We live in an age that's all about specialization, about finding your niche.
But what do we lose when we stop learning together? How important is it really to have that shared, integrated foundation? That's definitely something to think about.